Trying to level with a cause, just a girl for the thrill. Wandering through the shadows, never knowing what to feel. I thought I was a shaman, master whispers in the night. They underestimated, tried to keep me from the light. But I saw them mind control, every twist, every bend. So I turned it all around, made the game start to end. Now it's happened, ain't that eternal return? Are you conscious, do you burn, do you want to learn? Do you whisper in the dark, that's like if you wanna see. Figure out how to treat this water, take it if you're free. Loopholes, riddles, victims asking why. Justice brings some grace, echoes pierce the sky. Oh, but I saw them mind control, every twist, every bend. So I turned it all around, made the game start to end. Now it's happened, ain't that eternal return? Are you conscious, do you burn, do you want to learn? Nothing very nice, keep a smile in the ground. The roots grew deeper and we made a sound. I'm the who took it, who never stopped the fight. Reversing the shadows between truth and light. Throwing balls and victims, they won't be ignored. I'm here for justice to settle the score. Through trials and whispers, I grew stronger with time. What was hidden from me now sings in rhyme. Oh, but I saw them mind control, every twist, every bend. So I turned it all around, made the game start to end. Now it's happened, ain't that eternal return? Are you conscious, do you burn, do you want to learn? Answer the call.
Yeah, I was shooting the shit like I could handle it, like I could live on the dole and run around trading lies. I could go crawl in a hole before it gets too cold. Maria keeps me off the streets. Maria keeps me off the streets. Maria keeps me off the streets. 'Cause we're in isolation. I get it. Isolation. Mother, please believe me. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm ashamed of the things I've been put through. I'm ashamed of the person I am. Isolation. 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 And I remember Ian Curtis, Heil to you. And our beloved sister, Virginia, who stood up against the Epstein pedophile, who was just murdered. Heil to you, Virginia. Love and respect to you, Virginia. And respect and recognition to Ian Curtis, Virginia, and the great mother, Maria. And thanks and praise to Lulu, who makes it all possible. It wouldn't be possible without our brother. And the insane clown posse of Ronald McDonald Trump. And I don't mean any disrespect to the actual group, music group. A literal clown show running your life, running my life, on one level at least, right? On the level of, you're going to help us burn children alive. And don't you dare complain about it. Because I'm Ronald McDonald, and I will serve you those children to eat as your fast food. I mean, it is awfully ironic. Jesus said, you can't follow me unless you fast and pray. And here we are, 2,000 million years later, after Luke Skywalker said that. And we have what kind of food? Fast food. I mean, they're so in your face. Fast means to go without food. Fast food is without food. There's no food there. And they don't care. It's not exactly about nutrition and pesticides and cruelty to animals. It's not really about that. They want you to concentrate on that because they know that's the illusion, and they know they'll keep you. They know they'll turn you into the caricature of a conspiracy theorist. Because you're just theorizing, right? There's no facts. I mean, these are good people who drop 10,000 pound bombs on tents. You know, because they're Palestinian. They have to die. Because they're Lebanese. Because they're Yemeni. I mean, are you complaining? Are you complaining that these people are poor like you and don't deserve to die? If you're complaining, Ronald McDonald says you can leave America because, let me tell you, there's no plan for a new world order or any sort of economic kingdom. There is only plans of a suicidal maniac. And that's why that motherfucker, Ronald McDonald, paints a fake face on and babbles the entire spectrum of everything you can say. He covers all the bases. But one thing he won't say is that he doesn't love Israel. Right? I mean, you Kabbalist fucking dorks. You know, Kabbalah is for dorks. Kabbalah is for pedophiles. Man, you can suck your fucking tree of life, your fake fucking Crowley bullshit. We don't need your fucking tree, you dork. You fat, ugly fucking piece of fuck. Crowley sucks. Satanists suck. Satanists and Christians suck each other for eternity in the boringest loop of nonsense. Like, why is truth stranger than fiction? Because it's more interesting. Literally, these fucking people are what entertains you. Their evil entertains you. And we get it. It's hard to look away from absolute weird psychopaths. But let me tell you, where you make a mistake is listening to them. You know, Maria's got her real commandments. And one of them is do not listen to black magicians. You don't need to get your truth from them. You know everything. And you're like, yeah, but I have to do. I know, me too. I listen to books, I read books, I listen to videos, I watch documentaries. I do all the same things that you do. But we also have to stay conscious, right, of all the facts, right? And one fact for me is I don't exist here in computer space. I'm speaking to you, but in a sense, because of Maria Orsic, I have walked backwards into who I was before I came here. And, we're telling you from that perspective that these people suck. All magic is, you can create your own religion tonight. All magic is the manipulation of natural energies. Like, let me give you some examples. Like thought energy. Thoughts are energy. And if you direct them, they'll go automatically, right? So think about that power of imagination. And it's as simple as using it to get what you want, what you personally want. And if you're following us, it's not your duty to sacrifice yourself for others. It's your duty to protect each other. And that's just our opinion. But it is not you don't benefit at all from self-sacrifice to someone or thing or job or anything that doesn't, in your heart of hearts, deserve it. And the way we back out of this nightmare is, I am just almost in real time updating you on this, right? How to escape the matrix. How to find happiness. These are all the same things to Maria. What is eternal? Okay? The premise, the starting point, as you have, if you're listening to us, we talk a lot about where you start, because it absolutely, like those laws of nature I was talking about, that's what magic is. Magic is, there's nothing, technically supernatural. What makes it super is you manipulating the natural energy of the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, nature, everything. Your home, your car, your clothes, it's all vibrating. It's all singing. And our teaching is to back into the vibration. Walk backwards into, metaphorically, into the vibration that you were before you came here, because we guarantee you, Maria guarantees you from another plane of existence, that you're 10,000 times happier before you entered the matrix. And you should be full of regrets. If you're not, then you may never get out of here. Seriously, if you have not figured out that your success is based on your manipulation of natural energy in a bad way. In a bad way. Why do I say that? Because the two things are opposite polarity. And I say this from, personal experience, and I say it as Maria's representative. That the natural animalistic instinct to survive causes the most unconscious magical thing that some people can do, and that is be successful in the satanic Judeo-Christian world, the satanic West, the great Satan. And, I'm not saying there's an actual Satan. I am saying that the Bible sucks a dick because it is a example of that black magic that manipulates all kinds of facts and twists them, and with the intent of getting you to agree. Funny as it seems, but listen to this. What's the intent of the Bible? Okay. There was a Bible before there was a Bible. A Judo, Old Testament, Christian, New Testament, before World War II. And that Bible played no fact in how the world ended. So, when the followers of Crowley and the occult opposition to Maria Orsic in World War II, when they realized they were in a repeating, simulated computer simulation hologram, they came up with a plan to stop ending the world in 1948 and extend that time into their kingdom, the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of Israel, or whatever New Jerusalem coming out of the sky. And they changed your Bible and edited your Bible and added things, and overall changed the story. And the story had a secret, simulated purpose, a secret agreement that would bring about their fake prophecies. And that agreement would be that you are not saved unless you believe the Creator in heaven that created all things according to them, that He murders children, burns them alive, and if you don't agree with that, you can't go to heaven. And if you believe in the Bible, that's what you believe. And if maybe we'll do an actual Maria Orsic Bible study, but it's in Exodus, and that's the whole Passover. I mean, you do get it, don't you? He killed the Egyptians' firstborn because the Israelites were required to. So for that year, for 1 year, to set them free, he said, okay, you don't have to kill your firstborn, but every child, firstborn from now on, Moses said, and every animal. Because why? What is the point? The point is that this God, Yahweh, controls life itself and says who gets to live and who doesn't. And that's the agreement that you make, that the universal creator of all things doesn't exist. But if it did, you agree that what pleases him is human sacrifice, that suffering of human beings and horror and fear and absolute terror is what pleases him. The smell of their burning flesh, as the Bible says. You know, I'm trying to explain tonight how evil the Talmud, the Zohar, the Bible are. You know, 1 and 3, 3 and 1. You know, and there's many more. I'm quite aware of how much Jewish literature is out there. So don't anyone, you know, correct me. Oh, there's more books than the Zohar and the blah, blah, blah. And oh, there's good things. That's our point. Our point is you're a fucking fool if you have to get your good things from something filthy and evil. You know? Like Maria said, these people are so fucked up, they're proud of it. They put it in a book. They put it in fucking writing. They're proud of it. And you're like, who are you talking? I'm talking about Manly P. Hall, Crowley, Blavatsky, and all of them that endorse us. Everyone on earth that endorses a book that would dare say the things that it says. I mean, how many times does it say you can kill your Gentile neighbors if you don't like them? They're on a ladder, you can push them off a fucking ladder. It's not your fault. If you bump into the ladder and they fall off the ladder, you're not directly responsible for their death. I mean, this is, it makes my skin crawl. You might say, what the fuck are you talking about? I am talking for Maria. And she's saying this is the exact fucking mental struggle she went through in her earthly life. You know, is it that complicated, really? There was a first time Earth. They ended it. The same people you're watching burn children. Ronald McDonald, Sleepy Joe Biden, Barack. I hate my own people. Obama. George. The homosexual burning Bush, because he's a flamer. He's fakest person I've ever researched or read about was George W. whatever, the second Bush, W. Bush. I mean, the guy was a serious. He was a male cheerleader all through college and high school. High school and college, male cheerleader. He was a male. He specialized in cheerleading. They love to put these stupid fucking clown puppets as your leaders so that when you die, they can laugh at you and condemn you and say, real Christians were martyrs. They gave their fucking life for others. You supported bombs as big as SUVs dropped on tents. Big love to Kneecap. I was bitching and complaining about Irish. And so the sweet mother Orsic, made me aware of Kneecap, the Irish rap band that is just precious, precious brothers. Hail to you, brothers. May the all beautiful Celtic Llewellyn bless you, Kneecap. Thank you so much. Proud to be Irish. And I know people like, you're not really Irish. Hey, I mean, whatever you're going to fucking call it, my people came from that island. I know that because my grandma came here from Ireland as a child. my great-grandma, who used to live next door to my grandma, whom I knew, crazy enough, isn't it? Came from Ireland, was born in Ireland, raised in Ireland, and came to America. Her great-grandparents lived through the famines caused by the English. And yeah, big respect to the brothers for speaking the truth for the innocent and whoever it is. I know that there's exceptions and stories to every situation. All things are relevant, All things are relevant to the individual person. If you're going to be a fucking robot clone, then nothing's relevant, really, except your own opinion. And that's boring. I mean, it's just to not, to be closed-minded, to become unteachable is boring. Just stay teachable, but stay rational. Keep gathering the data and keep it stored away, and take time to analyze your own thoughts, your own self. Take some time to meditate. Use your plants, your mushrooms, and start to look at everything you've learned. And there will be obvious contradictions. You don't even have to learn like all the hours of logic and philosophy and blah, 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 fallacies. You can, and respect to you if you do, but you don't have to, because it's as simple as when you see all the data, when you see the whole movie, it's obvious. It's obvious. Things are fucking obvious every fucking time. And you can use that exact same strategy, that exact same mindset with the plants. You gather data. What is this plant saying? How much of this plant do I need to ingest to give me an experience with it, to feel like I made contact? And back to the rituals. Is it possible to switch bodies with someone? And your first starting point should say, that question, this reality, the simulated reality, can we switch bodies? The real reality. And as Miguel Serrano says, the astral reality, which seems more real than all the others, right? I mean, you would swear on your life that the simulated reality is as real as where you came from, because it fooled us all. I don't know anyone that knew we were in a simulation. I know people did, but I didn't know anyone. And it took a really, she knew this, Maria knew it would take time for my mind to adjust. And what my mind kept going to is, but are the people real? And I was stuck there, you know. And one of the first people Maria showed me that I knew before I came here was a woman named Jane. And Maria was going to show me that, because she was saying every week, I know what's going to happen. I know the future because it's not real. So it's available to know. And like she said, not every detail of your life, but I'm talking about the general events of the earth. And one day I will tell a story of how she exactly told me everything that would happen with Trump before it happened. And just to throw in there a little preview, she said, I have 3 people I've been dealing with through their whole life for this moment. She said, not like you, but in dreams and other things. She said, the Process Church, who Donald Trump is part of, absolutely 100%, wants this to be like a open contest. And the Process Church has opened the door for these 3 people of mine. She's like, of course they're Christians because there's nobody else. There's, like she said, they're with me because they believe in the supernatural. So she said, when I do something for them, they think it's God. She said, but it was all for this reason, and you'll never hear from these people again. It's do or die for these 3 people of mine. These 3 people were Lynn Wood, an attorney, Sidney Powell, an attorney, and Michael Flynn, General Flynn. She said, if Trump listens to those people, you're to fight and die for America, because it will be worth it. Because it's all about the freedom of the individual being protected from the government. And you see what Ronald McDonald's doing. He's using the government to kill people. The government is a phantom vapor of power that doesn't exist until someone grabs it. And, and we give our consent to that. We're the ones that empower it. There is, as soon as the people walk away, there is no government, there is no power. And the bombs stop dropping on you, on me, on Yemen. And what bombs on me and you? The spiritual bombs. America's suffering too. We can't be that foolish that we don't know that we're suffering. Right? Or could we? That we're suffering in a different way. We're suffering in a worse way, a psychological way. A, pain of conscience for every good person. So how can we help each other? Well, I had been asking Maria, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? And finally, she kind of interrupted and said, how about how? How have you come to be? How are you? How are you existing? What about where? Right? So this was, probably like 10, 12 rituals into it. She said, ask me anything you want to know, Jojo, Leo. And I said, How do you physically heal someone? Is it possible to heal someone's physical body with, and as I was saying that, her mind met my mind and said, "You're Joe. You're in a video game. Anything is possible on the plane of existence me and you are on. It's worth trying because fact number one, you're not completely restrained by natural law. You're partly governed by your own imagination here. It's a delicate balance that makes the holographic simulation genius. It makes us back home marvel at the people who invented it. And like Maria said, they're like gods to us. That how do we thank you for teaching, for giving us the opportunity to teach ourselves the things that, like she said, there's hundreds of millions of people who say, I wouldn't be myself if I didn't go there. It's the modern day mystery of Eleusis. This is your ritual. You're in the ritual. And that's why it keeps reenacting. That's why it keeps repeating. And 2 little points of practical help. Your life is repeating. And it's possible to switch bodies and help each other get out of here. And I say that because in this ritual, I said, as I said, and first thing she said was, yes, you can, because all sickness is vibration. All sickness is vibration. All sickness is vibration. And there's many hidden sicknesses. So, if you think that it's just physical illnesses, no, you could be physically sound as can be, and the true illness secret. Because ultimately, the simulation brings out that you are God over yourself. You are determined. You have not. It appears that you've given away your freedom. It appears that you're controlled, but you would never, ever, 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 ever ultimately agree to that. And I said to Maria, when I realized all those crosses in my meeting with the true self was my repeating lives, I swear, I literally screamed like a girl. When I really realized it, she said, Joe, it's okay, go ahead and scream. I was in another world and screamed, and thank the goddesses, that I didn't scream in this world, because it looks really stupid when you do, So I was experienced enough to know that not to really scream, that I'd wake up everybody in the house. But for real, I had to let it out of me that no, I cannot do every moment of this life again. No, I can't do it. I have to leave. And like she said, it's the ultimate irony for people that commit suicide, that they've been committing suicide over and over, trying to escape the very thing that makes their life repeat in the simulation. Maria, she said to me, Joe, all this has happened to you because the message is so important for our people. Like, of course, this is never going to be mainstream, But for our people, they desperately need to hear this, need to know someone's experiential truth of, this is what happened to me, and I lost every bit of focus and completely focused on one thing. When I knew it was a fact, I thought and focused almost constantly on one thing. I'm not doing this again. No. And that opened the door to everything else. I mean, that was like 2 months into it. That was like November or November of 2011. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. I could not emotionally attach to anything that was going to keep me here. That moment, I realized that. And Maria was like, son, of course, that's why I'm here. Because I know you have to lose everything. Not literally, but maybe. But factually, astrally, whatever you want to call it, vril, spirit, the higher attachment, the higher, deeper connections and attachments to these things have to be broken because they're not real. They're not real. God, family, country, like everything else, is a simulation. And it's playing off your emotions for where you live on Venus, the family you have on Venus, and the gods, if you have gods. Maybe you just believe in the thing that can't be described because I've met people like this, they're like, hey, gods are human beings. I don't need them. I hear you. I respect that. There is such a crazy spectrum, variety of people, that, like Maria said, why wouldn't we let people be free? Why? Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want people to be creative and, in our eyes, be interesting? Right? But anyway, she said, yes, you can. Because I had, in Christianity, I had wondered. And I watched, as I described, my son be healed. But it took a month or more. It wasn't, one snap. But I watched him by all, 5 sense reality, be healed without any medicine by strictly addressing the sickness as if it was a human being doing magic. Literally saying, you leave him alone. You get out of him. You take your hands off of him. you have no right to do this. And it worked. And you can believe, I can't even remember doing this. I don't really remember doing this. I suppose I was so fucking worried that I don't even remember. Because my number one prayer to Jaja and Jesus after that, and Father God Yahweh. Father God, the murderer, Abraham, will you sacrifice your son to me? That's what's on my mind. That's how I test people. Will you stick a knife in your son's throat for me? I'm God. I mean, if that's not a signal of a myth, we're retarded. We're brain dead. We're brain damaged. We have mental illness. If that doesn't, if you're reading along and this is a myth of the all, pervading invisible energy that, people say is that we all live in and are and become and come from. And you're reading along, it says, and that thing said to this man, will you kill your son for me? He didn't say, why would you ask me that? What does that do for you? He didn't, he just said yes. He just said, I'm a robot. I'm a fucking, will you go to Iraq and kill people for us? Yes, sir. Do you hate brown people? Yes, sir. Do you hate towel heads? Yes, sir. Go kill them. Yes, sir. These are heroes to Americans. This is how fucking retarded we are. We're absolute backwards in the bad way. There's a good walk back. There's a fucking poison, a deadly poison in America. And people like, take a drink. Take a drink. What, are you closed-minded? You don't really like marriage to 6-year-old? You don't like killing your Gentile neighbors. You don't like a book that talks about killing you and your kids. What, are you taking it personal? Yeah. Who does? Who wouldn't? I mean, you have to be brain damaged not to take it personal that, a phantom bank, the richest country in the world, is going to get rich off you working, because of a interest rate, because of a mortgage. That's freedom. I mean, that's something to be proud of. That's what we fought for, is to pay, twice as much for our houses. Because we're that stupid that they put a price and then you agree to a loan that's, to double that. And you're like, you fucking snakes, in a bad way. Sorry, snakes. I'm sorry. That just came out of my own brainwashing. You fucking pieces of shit. How about that? You waste. You banker waste. And I'm not talking about Jewish people. Because there's plenty of Irish, German, How could we ever be white supremacist? The people who oppress me are my exact own race. Irish, English, Dutch, German, French. You know what I mean? Never was I oppressed by a single fucking African. Fuck no. Because they would never let an African have power over in the United States of Israel. That's all it's been since 1948. Because why? Because they're dedicated to Crowley, not Israel. Crowley, to black magic, to Satanism in your mind that gives them control. Right? There is no Satan. You realize that. That's what Anton Levi, the high priest of the Old Testament Kabbalah, right? Levi priest. Yeah, he's Jewish, right? And his daughter, they told you straight up, there's no Satan. This is just an attitude, you dumbass. And what was the attitude? Do what you want. Oh, God, that's so original. Whoa, do what you want, do what you want, do what you want. Yeah, except we have nothing to do. We have nothing. And we have nothing to do. I mean, things have been so twisted because just think about it. In Germany, it was the National Workers' Party, the German National Workers' Party, something like that. The entire fight and the Jewish-led Bolsheviks, communists, that murdered their way through Russia, and no one cares about the Russians who died fighting the Bolsheviks for freedom. Not everyone was a Tsarist loyalist, right? Do we believe in the exceptions or don't we? And do we believe in the exceptions because we see them every day? Because we have evidence of them in our own life? That's why I know that, as Maria said, the most mysterious land still to this day, 4.5 million years later, is Russia. And I said to her, just instinctually, I said, who are the gods of Russia? I don't know if she was joking, but I know in right now, the simulation, she's not joking because she's absolutely that powerful. She said, I am. You're looking at them. And I know she meant Sig. And I know she meant Addie the Avatar. How you like that name? Addie the Avatar. Avatar Addie. He's our daddy. And it was actually Avatar Addie when I said, and she said to me, yes, you can. You can physically heal someone with energy. She said there's all different, it's going to have to come in the alignment of the energies, but they can be focused. They can be, I was like, what? I mean, this was being introduced to me, right? And I said, how? I started to kind of freak out. And she's like, Joe, I'm going to take you to someone. And I think this was the second time. So, and it like flashed in my astral mind. I was like, oh my God, she's going to take me to Odin. Because that's what she called him. She's Allfather, Odin. Neto. And in a flash, she was standing on the side of me. It was like we got on something, and we closed our eyes on the astral plane, and just when I opened my eyes, and just like a dream, you forget that you're laying in your bed on mushrooms because you're so far into another world, so far out of your body. And I just opened my eyes, and Maria was standing right by me, like the last conscious thought I had. But Odin was standing in front of me with his hood, like a monk's robe, like a brown monk's robe, and like the hood like coming up, like right down to his nose, like a hoodie, that's covering his eyes, and you can just see his nose because it's dark. right? It like extends out in front of his face, the little hood, a little bit, so it's kind of dark and you can't really see. I never seen his eyes until he moved the hood back. And so I think the very first time I seen it, I never seen his eyes at all, when he said, "Where are you?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he's like, "I do." And I swear to you people, I was laying on a bed in the future in technology, and the avatar, was walking around the bed and just could not fucking believe it. Could not fucking believe that this dude, it took me, and he's like, "This is the real physical you." He's like, "It's good news in the future, that body." Because I was amazed at how healthy I looked. And he's like, "Yeah, that body will last forever. The body doesn't die, it doesn't get sick, doesn't have to eat or drink. And it's connected to your imagination." I was like, wow. But so I'm back with him, right? And he says, "Ask me anything you want to know." And I was frozen for a second. And Maria said, "Joe, healing." With her mind, she telepathically said, "You remember, can you heal someone?" And I went, "Oh, yeah." I said, "What I want to know is, how do you physically heal someone on Earth?" And as quick as I said that, I was standing. It seemed like at work, but it also seemed like a real space, like a energy space or something. I didn't know. I mean, these were new things to me. But we were already talking to each other, and I don't even know what was said, but she started crying and crying and crying so hard. So hard that it started like really upsetting me. Like, I was there with her, but I was also at times like watching this, and it was upsetting me watching it. Like, why are you crying so hard? What's wrong? And she could not stop crying. She could not stop. And so I just like held her, and in my mind I could hear Odin's voice, and he said, "How you heal her, this is what he said, the only way you can heal her is to switch bodies with her, because this world is controlled by words and numbers." I was like, huh? I never heard that. I thought The Matrix. And as he was saying that, I felt me and her just switch bodies instantly. And I was in her, holding on to me. And it was like such a weird, strange feeling. It was like the first time I was ever conscious of this, except for the cat. And that was a weird feeling. It was the same weird feeling of like being like in a totally new place, a totally foreign place. And it was like it had to register for a second that I was in her body, and that she was in mine, or that she was out of her own body, right? And I heard his voice, and he said, "Joe, you don't have long because she's very scared." He said, "It's this simple. Breathe in every word you truly believe will heal her. The things that you feel her body is telling your mind that it needs. Breathe in each letter of those words into her fucking soul, into her spirit. And breathe out everything that comes to you that's making her sick." And one of the very first things I breathed in was the word faith, which I thought, man, why would that heal her? But Man, I'm telling you, people, we have to take our words back. Faith means to base your life on the supernatural things that you've been shown by the true self. That's the best way of saying it. Faith means to obey and manifest the very things your true self has shown you are the only things that can make you happy, because that's the purpose of our people, is to know yourself and enjoy yourself. Learn how to enjoy your true self at the avatar, loving the true self and enjoying it because it's supernatural, because it's eternal. And it's the only way to really, truly become one with someone you love. And it's funny that Maria's whole, story of, how do two people become one, are two women becoming one. And like she said, we're not lesbians. We never, ever, ever thought we were men for the least, not even a millionth of a millisecond did one of us. She was like, that thought's impossible. But like she said, no one knows how close Maria and Sig were, because they were one, because the two became one. We danced our way into each other's soul. We're one. We love each other higher than all of what you can possibly think. We don't believe that you're on our level. To the whole world, all the worlds, they truly believe this. No one ever can be closer than us. We are one. And like she said, I believe that qualifies me as a teacher. I said it does, because I know you, and you wouldn't have that kind of confidence in something that wasn't 100% backed with fucking vril power. And I'm trying to amplify, or I guess not amplify, but project in clarity, how she saved my life, and how I didn't know she was Maria for 13 months. And how it is also the story of a river, and the story of a nation of wealth that does not respect nature. We have a lot of people that do, but they don't respect nature on the level of, like, that river is supernatural. Like, what makes it flow? I said to her, how are you the river? And she said, I'm the magic flow of the river. The same river of vril sexuality runs through me. She's like, I'm a river of orgasm. I'm a river of eternal orgasm. She's like, me in the Mississippi River, we exchange and mix our sacred fluids like you would never believe. I was like, whoa, wow. And she's also quite a headbanger. She can whip her hair around like like no one else. She likes to, as she says, slam dance. She don't like mosh. She's like, that's gross. Slam dance. Pogo. Pogo dance, like jump up and down like a tadpole, like a little worm. She's like, that's fucking cool. That's a cool dance. She's like, me and Siggy began like a retro punk musical ballet, pogoing. In time, perfect little snakes, perfect little baby female snakes. And she's like, you know how beautiful a woman snake is? I was like, no, I don't. And soon I'll talk about how she would talk about snakes a lot. No lie. I'll end on this. This is absolute truth. The very, very first time. Okay, so my friend, and I value her very much, and my brother Joe, I love so much because they helped me so much in their kindness, and Venusian love. Like that's the kind of people you're like, yeah, I'm sure I knew you before we came here. Um, but she was the first person to get me mushrooms, the first person who even suggested to me to trip or take a journey on. She gave me just free, just gave me a gift of a like 500 milligram THC bar, and that is what initiated me onto the astral plane. And I would have never done that without her, because Maria Orsic used her to say to me, if you eat the whole thing, it will be like tripping on mushrooms. Because she couldn't find any mushrooms yet. And thank you. Well, the same brother and sister are the first people I ever smoked natural DMT. Our people should never be touching man-made chemicals. Don't be crazy. That's nuts. Plants. Mushrooms. Not drugs. I mean, come on. But anyway, she's like, have you ever tried DMT? That Terrence McKenna talks about. I'm like, no. And she's like, would you like to? I'm like, yes. So she's the first person that ever gave me DMT, and this is what happened. I took a few big hits, and I was listening to her talk, and from behind her, it was like everything went digital, and 1,000 neon, perfectly geometrical snakes came out of the background behind her. And in a second, in the speed of light, it was like they were perfectly together, moving together, but separate. In just a millisecond, it went from behind her, through her, and into me, into my chest. And when it went into my chest, in a snap, just in a click, I was in the other room, just floating on the ceiling in their laundry room. I could hear them talking. I could hear them laughing. And the first couple of seconds, I was uncomfortable and where am I? What is going on? And I was it was so weird because there's a little bit of light. And I was like, this is so weird. I'm on the ceiling, not on the floor. I'm like, and that took my mind off of the uncomfortable. And I was like, damn, what a trip. What a trip. I am, over here hanging out in the other room. And I started laughing to myself and shit, hearing them talk. And you remember the snakes. And I had a few personal things that happened to me. But mostly I hung out on the ceiling in the other room. And I guess just to, I don't know the purpose, or if there was a purpose, except to prove that you can absolutely be conscious out of your body in this world. And also on mushrooms, me and Maria, we flew around my neighborhood, flew around the river, and she was like, okay, enough playing. We got to get back to work. And what she calls work is clicking into other worlds, not this world. That's so foolish. Be like, I want to spend more time in this world. Hey, you don't need to leave your body. Just go take a walk in the woods. Just go down to the river. Use that astral time to do some real work, like she said. We have a job to do here. We're not just fucking around. But a lot of people around us are just fucking around. And I swear to on Maria Orsic's beautiful heart, on her beautiful long blonde hair that's attached to her beautiful mind. Before I smoked this DMT, I asked her like 10 times. I was like, I have to work in the morning. And she told me like 10 times, Joe, it lasts for like 5 minutes. And like 10 minutes later, you're completely normal. I was like, are you sure? And she's like, I did it last night. She's like, I've been doing it the last couple nights. She's like, everyone says that. Everyone says that. Because for people that's never done this, you just can't imagine that there's something different than, if you've done 5-7 grams of mushrooms, you think to yourself, like, I can't trip harder than that, even though 10 grams is harder, or 20, but it's a totally new experience. So, everyone in the room was trying to tell me, dude, there's nothing to compare this to. And so I did it because I knew I had to get up in the morning and go to work. And no lie, I had to rub my eyes several times. I have a delivery route, and on my route is completely like a giant residential neighborhood. It is not by the country. It's like in, a city outside of St. Louis, like a city, like hardcore suburbs. No country around. It's just strip malls and this was more like downtown-ish of where I work now. But this was even way, many miles from any sort of woods that I knew of. Seriously. Nothing, no kind of woods anywhere. And I pulled up to my very first delivery. And I got out of the truck and I could not believe my eyes. But I'm not going to exaggerate here, but I am not kidding you. At least 4-foot silver and blue snake. I had just ran over it and was laying there dead, like 3 feet from the tire of my truck, and I had just ran over it. And it just flashed in my fucking mind, all those snakes, and how there were silver ones, and blue ones, just like, and it was in the morning sun, just glistening, the blue and the silver. It was bright because it just died. It just died like 3 seconds before I seen it. And I couldn't move. I was like, how could this be a coincidence? That these snakes took me out of my body last night. And they must have been in my body while I was out of it. Because that's what happened. All these snakes, I was like, what's it mean? I told Maria, and she's like, I know what it means. She's like, let me tell you, the Jesus, the real Jesus, my husband, Ayesa, the Irish Jesus, the heir, I am Jesus. He was a snake crucified on a cross because he had the wisdom of Scorpio.
There's a whisper in the shadows, a heartbeat in the night, a call for all the dreamers to stand and make it right. We're living in a world that's crying out in pain, but together we can heal it like sunshine after rain. Just look inside your heart, let it show you where to start. So let's change the world, make it shine. The love so pure, so divine. One step at a time, hand in hand, we'll turn around, make a stand. There's a child in the mirror with stars in the eyes, dreaming of tomorrow, reaching for the skies. They don't see the lines, don't know black and white. They only see the colors, a world that's full of life. It's in the way we give, the way we care. So let's change the world, make it shine.